Y'all know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker. Look here. I'm getting ready to tell y'all a story that I had totally forgot about this. Friend of mine that I was locked up with years ago. This is the early part of my incarceration, right? Well, we're not friends, but, we know each other, been knowing each other for years. Always been cool with each other, whatnot. But, I use the term lightly when I call him friend. But, we cool, we straight. You feel me? And I just like to make sure that that's clear when I say that way. When I do say somebody's my friend, it's on a higher level than that, right? That's rare in here. So anyway, the point is he pulled up on me the other day. He's down here to get some medical help and so on and so forth. But he pulled up on me the other day, reminded me of a story that blew my mind then. And like I say, I don't know how I forgot this story, but he spent the night, y'all. He spent the night with an officer in his room throughout the night, doing what you do when you're in the room like that. And they ended up getting caught, but they had gotten away with it. They got caught. Anyway, you know what? I ain't even going to tell you that. I'm finna tell you this story. And you're not going to believe it. I'm telling you, but this is true. This is real deal Holyfield, the Blase Skippy, Whoop de Woo, and all the other stuff, right? So just sit back, relax, and enjoy this show, y'all. Look here, y'all, check this out. Years ago, man, I was at this other facility, right? This was early during my incarceration, right? So you have to break the timeline down if any of y'all out there are really paying attention to where I've been and all this and that, right? You'd probably be able to figure it out, but I'm not going to tell you what institution it was at. But anyway, at this particular time back in the day, it was going down. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? When I say it was going down, it was going down. You can get what you wanted to get, how you wanted to get it, if you had the money, the mouthpiece, whatever it took, if you could get it. You feel what I'm saying? But anyway, this particular brother, right, he was one of those dudes, you know what I'm saying? He always had something slick to say, and they went. It's just as simple as that. They went. You understand what I'm saying? We would be at visit, and he would be at visit arguing with his girl at visit. But when he would be on the compound talking to the ones in here, oh, it was smooth. It was smooth. It was like this dude was like Harry Belafonte and all of those types of dudes. He had something slick to say, right? And they would go. So this is what happened. One particular night, we were in the pod. And we were all just chilling and whatnot, right? And I noticed, everybody did, not just me, we noticed that he kept talking to the officer. This female officer that worked up hard. He kept talking to her, trying to, I don't know what they had going on because we couldn't really hear, but it was rumored that he was messing with her anyway. But it was like they were having a disagreement about something, right? And what come to find out, when he tells me this story, come to find out what they were talking about is he was trying to convince her to work third shift. Now, third shift is at night, y'all. Third shift is at night. That's when, everybody's gone home and everybody is locked down. Everybody's locked down. You know what I'm saying? Unless you happen to work third shift in the kitchen or something like that. But you'd be locked in that building. You know what I mean? But everybody's locked down. This is when we sleep. So he was trying to get her to work third shift. And when he was telling me the story the other week, I said, man, so why would you get her to work third shift if it ain't nothing you can do? You know what I'm saying, at third shift right now. I remember hearing the story, so I'm just really trying to bait him, trying to get him to tell me what happened. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I'm trying to get him to tell me all of the ins and outs of the story, right? So this is what he was doing. He said, I had to get her to work third shift so that I can get me some that night. And I'm like, oh, for real? How was you going to do that locked down? You feel me? I'm baiting him good, right? Because I know he wants to tell me the story, but I had heard about it, but I never really understood how could you do that? Because we're locked in the cells, y'all. Locked in, and they ain't unlocking them doors until the next morning. You feel what I'm saying? Unless it's a medical emergency or something like that. So I'm like, how did you do that? And he said, this is what he did, y'all. She worked third shift, and the other officer that worked third shift with her, you know what I'm saying, he was kind of cool, right? So what he did, he had gotten cool with these people on a level that I'm telling y'all that most people don't get on. You understand what I'm saying? So he had paid dude to agree to let her spend some time with him after all of us were locked down. I'm like, what? He was like, yeah. He said he gave dude $50. He gave dude $50 so that after we were locked down, she could spend some time with him. I'm like, yeah, right. What was your cellie at? He said his cellie was in the room too. But see, back then they would let us have curtains, right? It wouldn't really be a curtain. It'd be them real big old beach towels, and we could pull the beach towel. You know, you tie a rope on each end of the bed, and then you can run the beach towel over, put a paper clip on it, and it looked just like a curtain, right? So you could pull it back or pull it to whichever way you was trying to do it, you know what I'm saying? So you can get some sleep and the light from the outside in the pod wouldn't be shining all in your face. They only allow that in certain cells. You feel what I'm saying? As long as the officer could see your face, you know what I'm saying, it was cool. You understand? So anyway, this is what he did. So his cellie was in the room and he was on the top bunk and he was on the bottom bunk. So at the time after they came around and did the account, the officer that he had paid left the door cracked, left his cell door cracked. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. He was like, yeah, didn't nobody notice because the lights in the building are turned all the way off at that time. So it's dark. Everybody's laid back, chilling, watching TV. Nobody's thinking about that. You feel me? So you got one officer come around and count, then you had the other officer. She came around and counted, right? Because she decided to stay and work overtime. So I'm like, damn, for real. So after they finished doing the accounts, she sneaks back into the pod. Boom, sneaks right into his cell. They in the cell together, the three of them. Now, keep in mind, it's his cellie and them two. Now, they're on the bottom bunk. I said, man, that's cool. He said, no, Joe T. He said, that ain't the half. He said, hold up, I ain't even told you the good part. I said, what's the good part of it then? Because I'm hearing the good part. She in there now. I know what's going down. You feel me? He said, no. He said, man, we took a shower together. I said, oh, no, ain't no way. Ain't no way you took no shower with her. I said, the showers, man, listen, let me tell y'all something. The showers are like real small. They're real small. And you can really only fit one person in there that could comfortably turn around. Now, two people could get in there, but you can't move. You feel what I'm saying? It ain't no moving and turning and doing all of what you would imagine a man and a woman will be doing in the shower. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? But he said they were in the shower. And I got to thinking, I'm visualizing now, I'm like, how in the world would they be able to do what you do in the shower? And then I got to thinking about it. I said, shoot, you're in the shower, you're wet, you're making it happen, you're moving. You know what I'm saying? And plus, he could leave the door open to the shower because ain't nobody out. You feel me? And usually, you know, you might hear the shower running at night like that because some of the kitchen workers would come in late and they would allow them to take a shower. So it wasn't unusual to hear the showers. And I got to thinking about it. I was like, man, that's slick. So anyway, they're in the shower doing it. I'm talking about doing it. Taking a shower together, enjoying each other's company and all this and that, right? I said, wait a minute. I said, what were her clothes and radio at? He said, oh, they was in the room folded up. I said, oh, man, you got to be kidding me. He was like, yeah. The clothes were her clothes, her uniform, panties, radio, everything was in the cell, folded up on his bunk. I said, man, y'all took a big boy risk with that one. A big boy risk with that one. And he said, then when we coming out of the shower, he said it was the funniest thing because he said we was shimmying down the wall. She'll run, I'll run, and then we got to the cell. He lived in like, I forget what cell number he lived in now that I think about it. But anyway, they had to come down the wall and pass several of the cells, past the cell I was in, me and my cellie. I said, did you? He's like, yeah. He said, man, we were laughing the whole time because it was pitch dark in there. And, you know, she didn't have any house shoes, so I let her wear my house shoes, and I was running barefooted. He said, so you could hear me. I said, oh, my goodness. I said, was any lights on? He was like, no. He said, people were looking at TV, but we were making sure wasn't nobody looking out the windows of the cell because usually somebody's looking out the window when you hear a sound in the penitentiary. You look out to see who it is, especially if you in your room smoking a joint or doing something you ain't got no business. It's somebody always looking out. But this particular night, he said he didn't see anybody. He said they got back to the cell. They got in the cell and he let her get on the bottom bunk, pulled the curtain back, let her dry off and put her panties and bra and all that old back on. And then he did the same thing and they got in the bed together and they spent the night together till about 3 in the morning, y'all. 3 in the morning. They laying there. He said she actually fell asleep. They were laying in the bed, fell asleep together. And dude that he had paid, the other officer, came to the door, knocked on the door and said, man, y'all got to get on up. Because they count us at 6. They count us at 2 and then they'll count us again at 5 or 6 o'clock. You feel what I'm saying? So it's several counts throughout the night. But about 3 o'clock, he woke them up so she could be up out of there before the captain comes around. I said, man, if they would have caught y'all would have both been on Mac. He said, no, we did get caught. I said, you got caught. I said, nah, now you ain't making no sense because you should have went straight to Mac. He said, no. He said the captain caught her coming out of the cell. I said, he caught her coming out of the cell. I was like, so why didn't they do something? She said, no, she said she couldn't see, so she opened the door to make sure she could count us. I said, oh, she quick on her feet. She quick on her feet. I said, I don't know how that happened, but she quick on her feet. He said, yeah, man. Then she get up out of there, and then it's 6 o'clock. He said, well, it's a little bit before 6, y'all. But anyway, she came around and did the last count. Stood on the door, did it just like she was doing her regular officer's duties. And that was the end of it. And when he was telling me this story, he was still laughing. And I'm looking at him like, you got to be lying to me. He said, man, Joe T on everything. That's true. He said, I spent the night with an officer. I said, you got to be tripping me out, man. He was like, yeah, it happened. It happened. And he said, it happened on more than one occasion. I said, for real? He's like, yeah. I'll tell you about that another time. So he wouldn't tell me no more of the stories, right, y'all? But he told me that one. And that, like I say, I know you've heard a lot of things that have happened in the penitentiary, but I bet you ain't never heard of that one. I bet you ain't never heard of that one, y'all. Let me know what you think. Do you think this is something that you would do or not do if you were locked up in the penitentiary? Would you take a big boy chance with that? Because think about it. If they would have walked in there, what does she say? Does she say it was complicit? Does she say he forced her in there? How does she explain that? How does the other officer explain that? What do you think you would have done if you were in the same situation? You feel me? Think about that. This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and I say peace, y'all.